anime is about two things, okay? Titties and hype, sometimes simultaneously. And anime fight scenes can make you experience more hype than any other medium out there. So I got to thinking, right? What are some of the most ruthless brawls in all of anime history? What do I mean by ruthless? I mean brutal. I mean vicious. I mean there's already a video titled Most Disrespectful Moments in Anime History, so I had to come up with a different word. I've got a lineup of absolutely savage anime brawls here in no particular order, but listen, there's only so much hype my shrill feminine voice can handle, so if there's a fight missing from this list, let me know in the comments and, I don't know, maybe I'll make a part 2. Especially since... Look, I'll be honest, some of these are gonna be some pretty weird picks. Okay, there's no Goku versus Vegeta, no Tandro versus whatever the spider is called. In all honesty, most of the fights in this video were determined by how many jokes I could come up with about them. Alright, let's get into it. Now we're starting off with a classic, the OG ball dropper. Literally. Okay, maybe not the OG ball dropper. This isn't the first time a character's pulled the old weighted clothes trick on an opponent. But let me tell you, when Rock Lee took off his weighted gear, he wasn't just dropping ankle weights, okay? He was dropping the balls of every child in every home across the 7 seas. The fight starts off and Lee's constantly under threat of being swallowed by sand. And at first you're like, oh, this is fine. This is a school-sanctioned event, you know? He's not gonna die. Then you realize that Gar is the type of guy that wakes up every morning and chooses murder. The last time Gaara fought a rain ninja, he made it literally rain ninja. Not to mention, Gar's your local school shooter with the ability to control sand with his mind, and Rock Lee's like a guy who's pretty good at karate. I mean, Rock Lee's got everything going against him. Look at him, they didn't even finish drawing his face. They drew 2 circles and a couple of rectangles and went, yup, that's a man. Kid's got the absolute bare minimum requirements of a face. Meanwhile, Gar's got the premium deluxe package with his eyebrow tattoo and heavy eyeshadow. But then Lee gets on that statue and you instantly go from being terrified for him to terrified of him. I mean, look at Gar. He's just like, huh? Oh my god. Okay. All right. Would you stop, please? Look at how actually frightening this shot is. This is the moment you realize they left Rock Lee's face unfinished because drawing a single additional detail would make him OP. Then Lee pulls out 10 front flips. That's right. I counted them. And cracks Sandy cheeks right down her acorn-sucking skull. The disrespect in this fight is through the roof. Everything else that happens in this fight is irrelevant. Yeah, the Hidden Lotus is cool and Gaara crushing Lee's limbs is punk rock as hell. Those were just the dessert. This dropkick was the main fucking course. This next one is similar to Rock Lee versus Gaara in that it starts pretty cool and ends terrifying. Although saying that the Deku overhaul fight starts off pretty cool may be a little insensitive, because everything leading up to this fight is fucking brutal. First, Mirio gets his powers taken from him after saving Ari in a scene where I'm not crying, you're crying. Then Night Eye gets his kinky ass pegged to death. Look, I know a lot of people found the Night Eye death sad, but all I'm saying is you can't make your students call you sir and then do this to them. Guy was a certified freak. Look at his hands. What kind of weirdo stands like that? Overhaul turns into what I can only describe as a well-dressed hamburger helper, and then it's finally time for a supercharged Deku to take him on. For no reason at all, there are like 10 frames of this fight that are unyieldingly scary. This whole series, we watch Deku go from simp to pimp, okay? That's like his whole arc. He starts off simping, but we know eventually, you know, he's gonna be pimping. But then out of nowhere, Deku goes from scared bitch to Blair Witch. What is all this hair? Why does he look like a Bloodborne boss? Then Deku winds up a punch so fucking hard that the sky literally turns into fists. Do you know how terrifying that's gotta be? Can you imagine looking up at the sky one day and finding out that it's punches? This move should be called Cloudy with a Chance of Pain. Not to mention the punch literally disassembles Overhaul like he's a fucking Mr. Potato Head. It's only made scarier by the fact that Deku is literally never done anything like this before. Like, we as an audience had no reason to believe that Deku had the ability to make it literally rain fists. This is actually one of my favorite anime fight tropes, when animators get so lost in the hype that they end up giving their characters abilities they don't actually have. Take, for example, this other fight from Naruto. I can already tell people are gonna be upset with the amount of Naruto on this list. But how can I not include Naruto versus Sasuke? This is one of the most savage fights I've ever seen, primarily because Sasuke spends the majority of it getting his shit absolutely rocked. The second Naruto decides he can fucking airbend, this fight's over. Where did this move come from? Naruto just pulled this shit right out of his pocket. Then he just sprints up and knocks the fucking pupils out of Sasuke. This is the most painful looking punch I have ever seen. I dare you to find me a punch that looks like it hurts this bad. Look at him, he looks like he's gonna throw up. He becomes a different man. Naruto literally knocked the Sasuke out of him. He gets hit so hard that Naruto has time to punch him 3 more times before Sasuke's body even has a chance to consider hitting the ground. Then Naruto hits him so hard that physics doesn't even know how to fucking handle it. Eventually, Sasuke gets a chance to shoot a fireball at Naruto, but Naruto disagrees with that idea so hard that it simply doesn't happen. He doesn't dodge the fireball, nothing blocks it, he just screams it away. Another awesome ability Naruto does not have. I've heard people criticize this fight, saying that it doesn't make sense that Naruto throttles Sasuke this hard, but to me, the most unrealistic part of this fight is that Sasuke doesn't spend the entirety of it crying his eyes out of sadness, out of fear. Take your pick. Look at this. Sasuke doesn't get a second to breathe without Naruto hounding his ass. He goes underwater, 3 Narutos are waiting to kick his ass. He jumps in the air, psych, no you didn't. This is one of the most relentless one-sided beatdowns I've ever seen. Again, because Naruto has never behaved this way. Speaking of friends fighting friends, remember when I said that this list would consist of fights both popular and underrated, and it'd have a couple of weird picks thrown in there? This next one is almost like entirely what I was referring to. Out of all the Demon Slayer fights I could have chosen, why Tandro versus Enosuke? Because this is the most disrespectful fight in the entire show. This fight is one sick beat away from just being a straight up breakdancing battle. Tandro finds Enosuke beating the crap out of Zenitsu, and then proceeds to knock the fucking oink out of him. Dude straight up pressed L2 and R2 and did a Mortal Kombat X-ray. Then Enosuke grinds his sack against Tandro's face for what feels like the duration of 3 full seasons of Seinfeld. Enosuke teabags every square inch of Tandro's head, and you're gonna tell me this fight doesn't deserve to be on this list? This is also the only hand-to-hand fight scene in Demon Slayer, as of this recording, and it's fucking sweet. It makes me wish we'd see a lot more hand-to-hand fight scenes rather than the hand-to-sword fight scenes that we usually see in this show. Anyway, that's pretty much the whole fight. It's a short one. Moving on to my other favorite anime fight trope, the one where your eyes can't keep up with what the fuck's going on. Let's talk about Saitama's fight with Boros, the living seizure warning. Now, like most One Punch Man fights, the majority of this fight consists of Boros tossing around Saitama until Saitama just decides to end the fight, but that's okay because Boros is fucking dope. This guy looks like the digi-evolution of Daft Punk. He looks like Yugi grew up and got really into German techno music. Dude literally flies in cursive and fights in 3 different art styles. Yeah, his final form looks like Sonic the Hedgehog's sperm went Super Saiyan 3, but the speed and ferocity of this fight are nearly unmatched. But eventually, all good things must come to an end. Oh, and remember before when I mentioned that Naruto punching the pupils out of Sasuke was the most painful punch I've ever seen? Well, a close second has to be Saitama punching a man so hard he coughs blood out of a mouth he didn't used to have. Boros fires a laser, and Saitama punches it so hard that it not only splits the laser, but also completely changes the Earth's climate. Oh, and this fight has all the best Studio Bones tropes too. People flying so fast they turn into balls of light, objects getting hit so hard they turn into lava. You know, just some classic Bones action. But anyway, those are 5 of the most ruthless anime fights I could come up with. But like I said, there are dozens of anime fights out there that I could think of on the top of my head alone that would make for a great part 2. So if you like this video and you want to see more, comment below what other fights you'd like to see in another part. Attack on Titan's got some, Mob Psycho's got a ton, Demon Slayer's got some more, Naruto has a ton, Boruto has one very specific one I didn't want to add here because this is already a pretty Naruto heavy video. But yeah, if you want to see a part 2, let me know in the comments, share this video around, the better this does, the higher the chance of another one, and I will see you guys next time.
They fill with the liquor. Drink this and let the body flicker. Water drips on your tongue like honey. Everybody in the sundress, and it's sunny out.